Well, that was bleak. I'm reviewing the horror film Cadaver. Hey Twisted people, it's your Twisted Girl next door here, and today I'm reviewing the Norwegian horror film that can be found on Netflix, Cadaver. Now the way this goes, I'm going to give my pros, cons, trigger warnings, my emotional carnage damage report, aka how is this movie going to make you feel, and finally my twisted final grade. In the starving aftermath of a nuclear disaster, Lenora, Jacob, and their daughter Alice are on the edge of survival. One day, the local hotel invites survivors to attend a theater play, with a meal included as a charitable effort to help those in need. But the play takes an eerie turn when audience members start to disappear. The line between reality and theater quickly gets blurred, until Alice disappears in front of Leo and Jacob, and there's no longer room for doubt. Something is very wrong with the hotel. The movie does a great job of creating a creepy atmosphere. At first, I was a little worried that since they were showing the outside of the hotel, that everything was very dark and grainy, and that the whole movie was going to be dark and grainy to let you know that things are dark and grainy, which I tend to think tends to be kind of a fake out when it comes to some movies where, because they can't do much of anything else in creating a really intense atmosphere, they do it with the color, or I should say they overdo it with the color of bleakness, and the movie didn't fall into that, which was really well done. So there's a good contrast with kind of giving you the sense that there's a nuclear disaster going on, along with then going into the hotel and the vibrant era of, theater. As a theater major, former theater major, I appreciated that. And, it does a very good job of pointing out that even in a nuclear apocalypse, that some theater kid or person is going to find a way to put on a stage play. The show must go on. But yes, it creates a really cool atmosphere where you just get a sense that something's off. There's a certain sense of something's not right here, but it's not really out and out in your face. It does subtle, but also kind of like there's something like crawling across your skin, like something just don't feel right, like chills. The acting is really good quality. It's once again subtle. It's not over the top. They do it very well. And I will say, full disclosure, I watched this as an English dub, which means that basically that there were English voice actors going over the actual film, because this is a Norwegian film, so it wasn't originally shot in English. And even with that, it came off really well. And that's hard to do. We all have, had our fair share probably of watching dubs and being like, oh my gosh, no, I'll just read the subtitles. And sometimes I do that. I can go either way sometimes, depending. But in this particular film, the English dub did a great job in my opinion, conveying what the physical actors were doing, and basically, mirroring the emotions that you saw on the screen. So that is not an issue if you want to watch the English dub, in my opinion. It's a simple plot that gets you thinking. To be completely honest, it's sort of predictable. You can kind of guess what's happening at the hotel, maybe halfway through, maybe not even halfway through, maybe like 20 to 30 minutes within the film. You can kind of guess where things are going in a way. But even with that, I wouldn't even call that a con, that it's slightly predictable in that sense, because that twist that happens isn't necessarily the crux of the movie. It's a movie that gets you thinking about what it means to survive, what it means to be up against the wall, and what people will do. What is the human condition of what people will do when it comes to trying to survive another day in very desperate times? So the twist is maybe not the most original idea, but it's not about the twist necessarily. The main character is frustrating at times. I know for myself, there were moments when I was just looking at it. I was like, don't do that. Why would you do that? Why are you doing that? Where you just get kind of frustrated. And sometimes we all know that if characters didn't do a certain thing, there probably would be no movie, right? If we all did the smart thing when it came to situations like the ones we see in movies, there would be no stories, usually. Although I do think some movies are doing a great job of creating stories where no matter what, even if it is a smart character that does all the things right, things can still go wrong. And I tend to be more into stories like that as opposed to trying to make the main character do silly things so that the plot can keep going. Some things are left unexplained. I don't need everything to be explained. I don't need you to put it all out on the table for me. But there were a few plot holes here and there of where things went. Not glaring, but they are there and you will probably notice them. The trigger warning for this film is child death referenced. The emotional carnage of this film is the fact that at the time of this filming of this review is that this movie will most likely hit close to home. It's talking about some sort of disaster that befalls this place, the world, people finding themselves in dire straits, and the things that they will have to do in order to survive. The things some people will do and the things other people might not do when it comes to survival and when it comes to unity, when it comes to people coming together versus, really toxic individualism and whatnot. And so, yes, this will get you thinking about perhaps the current situation that the whole world finds themselves in. And so if you don't kind of want that vibe for the night, you might not want to watch this film because it does have some bleak overtones when it comes to putting that out there about what it means with the human condition, what it means to choose survival versus unity, or unity versus, making the hard decisions and sacrifices. And there's not really a clear-cut answer when it comes to the story. It won't tell you this was right, this was wrong. It just kind of puts it out there in a way, in a compelling way, but you will kind of very much be like, yeah, this is a little close to home. My twisted final grade for Cadaver is an A. Okay, twisted people, so that is my spoiler-free review of the horror film Cadaver. I really dug it. I thought it was a timely movie, which you may or may not be in the mood for, but it definitely has a creepy atmosphere and a really engrossing story. Let me know if you watch Cadaver in the comments. Do you think I got it right? Do you think I got it wrong? Also, let me know what kind of mood you're in when it comes to the kind of horror movies you want to watch. Are you kind of avoiding movies that remind you of real world problems and just kind of thinking of something that's a little bit more lighthearted or as lighthearted as horror can be? Or are you all for all the emotions when it comes to exploring the darkness of the human condition? Let me know, comment down below, and also be sure to subscribe so that you're the first to know when I post my videos. Thanks for watching. Let's get creepy together.